Hey guys, Brian with Buffalo Beer Reviews. I've been doing some retrospective sort of analysis of some of my recipes, and I decided to kind of incorporate maybe a little bit more steeping, aka flame out, aka Whirlpool sort of additions of hops to some of my brews. Some of the beers that I initially thought were a little on the bitter side, like this Simcoe Wallpaper, I decided to move some of those hops into the Whirlpool to kind of control the bitterness in the boil and maybe, accentuate some of the flavors and aromas in the post and stuff like that. And I had a really great sort of experience the first time around. So I thought I would examine kind of like my flagship, if you want to call it a flagship, and it's this Chipshot IPA. I will try to throw a link to maybe a Chipshot video. It's kind of difficult to do something like that because I've gone through so many versions of Chipshot. This might be the 7th version that I've brewed, or the 7th time, maybe like the 5th version. Anyway, the recipe that I've used here out of this keg, I will post in the description below. But I've been carbonating it for about a day and a half, and I just came down to really kind of just to see the color and check out the aromas. And I know what it is. It is sort of room temperature. It's basement temperature. It's not warm, but it's not cold. I know these temperatures bring out different sort of qualities, but I'm going to show you guys what I believe may be one of the best beers that I've ever brewed. And I really do believe it's because of the steeping process. I'm going to set this camera up here for hot 2 seconds. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. I'm just going to go pull a beer. And you've really got to take a look at this thing. This may be one of the best looking versions of Chipshot that I've ever brewed. It is all sorts of milky and hazy yellow, but it's a deep orange, almost kind of like a mustard seed sort of looking yellow. It's wonderful. I'm still in the process of carbonating it. This just came out of the keg at around 12 psi. So I tried to kind of bleed a little bit out of the 20 psi so I don't have a foam bomb on my hands when I'm getting it out into the glass. But there are great sort of deep citrus notes here, like papaya and mangoes, and it's deep kind of oranges, but not to the overwhelming extent. And you get just a suggestion of dankness, and it's not really there in the nose. But let me get into tasting this, and I'll tell you about it. It's right there in the flavor. It's really nicely camouflaged. So if you haven't looked over the recipe yet, this is Chipshot, right? Initially started off with Medusa hops and Melon hops. I really liked the Medusa sort of low alpha acids. I kind of liked the little bit of melon notes to it. The Mosaic I thought really paired well with its sort of light citrus take and a green take on it, floral take on it. And the two just really paired really nicely. And I don't know what kind of techniques changed over the next couple of batches, but I found myself adding lots of hops and not really getting what I wanted. So I added Melon to the recipe 2 recipes ago. That was only okay. It didn't really pop as much as I thought Melon was going to pop, but it was still good. Then this batch, I kept the Melon, but I moved some of the bitterness of the Mosaic into the Whirlpool, and I added just an ounce of Citra into the Whirlpool. So that's all that I really added Citra-wise, was just 1 ounce to the Whirlpool, and it has kicked this beer up to an unbelievable sort of realm of homebrew, and it's really enjoyable. You still get these nice notes, because I did put the Medusa into the Whirlpool as well. And I do really think that since it's a low alpha acid, you do get to enjoy this immersion of melon vibe. And I did not put the Huel melon into the Whirlpool. I just left the Mosaic, the Medusa, and the Citra in the Whirlpool. You get this immersion of honeydew, an immersion of like this different type of melon semi-sweetness. And on top of sort of this apricot and papaya out of the Citra, it just all of a sudden it's just turned into this super enjoyable homebrew. Wow. Let me pull up my notes right here. And like I said, I'm going to post these in the description, but I ended up, just because of supply reasons, I ended up with 7 pounds of Maris Otter and 1.5 pounds of Golden Promise. I couldn't tell you the rest. That's the only real difference that I made in the grist bill. Yeah, so instead of 10 pounds of Maris Otter, I did 7 pounds. And I added the Golden Promise 1.5. That wasn't in the original or the last one I did for the brew competition. Carafoam, Flaked Oats, Flaked Wheat, and the water treatments with lactic acid, calcium chloride, and gypsum. But this hop schedule was nice. Medusa 1 at 15 minutes, Melon half an ounce at 15 minutes. Then it was Melon half, Medusa 1, Mosaic 2 at 10 minutes, Medusa 1, Mosaic 1 at 5 minutes. Then I whirlpooled at 180, 177, 180 for 30 minutes with an ounce. Oh, I did put melon in the Whirlpool. I didn't think I did. I'm sorry, I did. I did whirlpooled for 30 minutes with an ounce of melon, 2 ounces of Mosaic, 2 ounces of Medusa, and an ounce of Citra. My starting gravity was 1062, and I finished at, oh shit, I didn't write it down, 1012, 1062 to 1012, and my ABV came out at 6.56%. Let me write that down before I forget. 1012. So, I mean, you get these sort of flavor profile characteristics with a 6.56% spine, and all of a sudden you're just like, whoo, it's nice. I'm getting ever so hints of that weird kind of twang. Even though I did get I did do a Campton tablet treatment, I still do think that brewing these beers, it would behoove me to put an inline filter in these in this system. So I'm going to be doing that, maybe to increase the quality and the drinkability later on. I will tell you, because of all of the hop additions and the Whirlpool hop additions and and the dry hopping schedule, if you were to kind of play ball on the higher volumes, maybe add a half gallon of water, maybe kind of give yourself a half gallon or 3/4 of a gallon extra, maybe going into the fermentation vessel. That's going to allow you to really not lose so much volume in the hop material. I don't have a conical yet, so that's a hurdle that I have to overcome on brew day for myself. And that's really about it. There's, other than the very slight suggestion of the weird sort of twang, this is nice. The aromas and the flavors are very immersive and full-bodied, and I am just impressed with myself. I just really am. I wanted to put it on the video because I had been getting a little bit more interest in sort of my ventures down here in the basement brew space. Do you know what I mean? So that's about it for me. I'm going to finish this and finish my coffee, and I've got another brew waiting to go over there. Just happened to, I got called into work unexpectedly last night to work a night shift, so I'm not in any sort of shape physically to spend 4.5, 5 hours brewing today. But I'm going to do another one of my sit moat cream brew days. I've got my lactose here, you know what I mean? And I've got my entire sort of grain bill ready to go. I don't have any water in there yet, but it's almost ready. I got to clean that out a little bit more. I think I'm going to heat up some PBW and get my brew kettle cleaned and spotless. And that's about it for me. Yeah, the 20-pound CO2 tank is working out really nicely. I can just leave it in place, carbonate it over 2 days, and it's ready to serve. This is my little tap on the go. It helps me. I don't have that picnic tap that I have to run and rinse. It's just really nice piece of hardware. So I'm sorry for the kind of the long post. I do that when I get excited about beers and stuff like that. So thanks for all the clicks and the watches, and I will see you guys with the next homebrew. Cheers.